what were the conversations leading up to the hire?
What happened was, I was going about my retired life, loving it. Watching the team last year was a lot of fun compared to years past. You just knew that they were building and growing. And going through the year, it was fun watching them. And when we got to the playoffs, all of a sudden, everything kind of changed. The 2 games against Baltimore were good, but I started feeling a lot of anxiety during that time. I mean, anxiety that I've never felt before, right? And I finally understood what it was like to be a fan. Guys, this is what fans feel. Then the Yankee series was just, it was horrible for me because I was pulling so hard. At the end of the game, I'd have to go stand in the shower for a half hour just to try to calm down, right? But I knew there was things that I could do to help. I'm being a former manager. I know what Matt needs. I know what Matt thinks. I know what to look for to help him in situations, and it has nothing to do with game management. It all has, suggesting players that can come to the big leagues, guys that I know that could help. And we've got a great player development staff to be able to do that. But then, I started talking to JJ. Look, I can help. I know how to do this. I can help. And we talked about it all winter long, and finally decided that this would be something to give a good try and see what happens.
So what will you be doing? I mean, will you going around the minor leagues?
Yes,
okay.
Mostly around the minor leagues, depending whatever Matt needs, whatever JJ needs. But really, I'm going to be here 6 weeks for spring training to kind of get re-familiarized with the minor league system, put faces to names, especially on the minor league side. And then I'll probably spend 5-6 days a month in AAA, 5-6 days a month in AA, and then go wherever they need me to go to watch. If there's a certain player that they need to watch, I want to kind of stay focused on the organizational catching, because that's what I was, a catcher, and just kind of see how their development is coming. And just whatever, my philosophy has always been that, Matt manages the players and manages the game. The coaches are the ones that prepare the players to be productive for Matt to use in any way that he feels fit. So, just in that latter part, just trying to identify guys that will help him win a championship, because I think we're getting real close.
Yeah.
You've held this position before earlier in your career. Now coming back to this role again, is there any changes or anything different that you want to do now that you have this stead again?
Well, there's definitely some things a little bit different that I want to do, but again, the game has changed a lot, so it's not my position right now to come in here on the first day or second day. My job is to watch and to listen best I can, and watch twice as much, listen twice as much as I speak. But I don't know how successful I'm going to be at that. We'll see. We'll see. But I definitely, again, my whole focus is to help Matt get what he needs so he can win a world championship.
How great was it catching up with Salvi? I saw you guys talking yesterday when you walked over to the field.
Yeah, it's great. I love Salvi. Salvi's, I've watched Salvi grow up. I've watched Salvi become the player that he is today, but more importantly, the man that he is today. And, I was real happy because I could kind of see that in him when he was an A-ball, how special he was going to be. So it was great to see him, especially in the form of the leadership that he has on this team, the leadership that he has in the community, and the heart that he has for the community, the joy that he has for the game, and the joy that he has and the expectation that he has for winning. He's a phenomenal leader to have on your club.
What makes you say that this team's closer than ever to getting to a championship?
Well, first of all, what you have to do when you get into a team like this, and it was the same progression that we had, you got to play 500 first. Then once you play for 500, you can start to compete. Now you make it into the playoffs, and a lot of times, first time guys have been to the playoffs, they always think that they're good enough to get into the playoffs and win. You get into a scenario like that, like they got into last year, each and every one of them realizes now that are good enough to win. And it's not thinking anymore. They know it in their heart. And it was the same thing like the Chiefs a couple of years ago when they lost, before they went and won their first championship. That year they lost in the last minute of the game. But they knew they belonged there. They knew now all of a sudden that they could do it. And it's a mental aspect where you know in your heart that you can come out and compete every day instead of walking on the field and hoping you can compete every day. And once you get that, that's kind of like the last step that you need in a team formation or a group of guys all believing that, hey, we can come out here and compete for a championship. It frees them up. The experience was invaluable, and now they're ready to go. You know, they're ready. They've got that belief going into the season where none of that belief that they have now they had last year at this time. They thought that, you know, hopefully they're going to continue to build and get better. And what happened over the course of the year was a valuable experience building time for them. And now when they walk in, and you can see it in their faces, you've covered this team when they were bad, you've covered this team when they were good, you see the difference in the way that they're even on the look of their face, they know now that they can compete in the American League and hopefully compete for a championship.
What stands out just in the couple days you've been here?
Right now, just getting used to seeing the names again. You know, I've got a lot of admiration for Matt and the coaching staff. I think what JJ's done in this organization has been great, and you know, I'm just right now watching, paying attention, and seeing areas that I can make an impact in.
What were the moments that were most anxiety-inducing for you in the playoffs watching?
You know, I never had it. Oh, this year?
Yeah, you were watching it, yeah.
Oh, man, there was many of them. You know, there were so many times where a hit would have won a game, and that Yankee, you know, it's like, come on, 2 outs, and, you know, a couple guys on, and we wouldn't get to hit, and it'd be like, oh, man. I mean, it was, but see, when you're in it, I would be at the ballpark at 8:30 in the morning. I'd leave at midnight, and you worked hard all day, and you knew at the end of the day that you'd done everything that you could do, right? But when you're a fan, there's nothing you can do, so you got to wear the wins and losses. But the problem is that the thrill of victory doesn't equal the agony of defeat. Defeat is much worse on the fans and the players. But at least at the end of the day, when you're involved, at least you feel like you've done something. You've done your best. You've gone out and you've done everything that you can do to be successful, and you live with it. It wasn't. So this was the first time that I really felt that, you know, that where I was helpless. And I'm like, I'm not going through that again. I can definitely help. So.
You mentioned the team competing, you know, and you see it in their eyes. Was there a similarity between the 2014-2015 squad where you could tell in their eyes that?
No doubt, absolutely. But for us in 14, that happened in the wild card game. And our guys, we had battled to get to the wild card situation, and we were down like 3 or 4 runs going into the 8th inning, and our guys came in, and they were all down in the corner of the dugout, and you could hear a little murmur that was getting louder and louder and louder, and then I kind of paid attention to it, and the guys were down there, and they were all yelling and screaming, "We're not losing this game, not today, not to this guy," a guy that we hadn't beaten all year, and John Lester. And all of a sudden, that was the moment that they figured it out, that they were good, and they believed it. And we went out and won that game and won 8 straight, and then went to the World Series. So the next year we came in and ran it, you know, because they had that valuable experience. They had that ability in their heart that they knew when they walked through that door, they were going to compete today instead of hoping that we could compete today. And there's a huge difference in that. And you could see this club getting to that point last year at the end of the year that, you know, they went home disappointed, but it was a valuable experience for them to go through that they can build on heading into this year.
Is it kind of like a full circle moment for you, knowing that the 2015 team is celebrating 10 years this upcoming season, and now you're back with the Royals now?
Not really. You know, I always said when I retired, and I remember saying this, I wanted to see the Royals win one more World Championship before I died. And, you know, I think that there's a lot of things that got to happen. You have to stay healthy. And guys have to have good years, but, you know, they're capable of going out and competing for that championship now. So I want to see it. You know, I want to be a part of it and help them any way I can.
Cool, Ned. Thank you.